All right. So, offline students, our session is live on YouTube. Probably you can keep the YouTube on in your mobile when the speakers are not proper. Fine. So that you'll get more better audio as these speakers are meant for offline classes. Fine. So let's continue quickly. So we've been conducting this alumni meet, and this has been the fourth year, okay, of our alumni meet. So we started alumni meet in 2020 when there was some major lockdown that happened, and we all started taking the classes from home. And that's where we realized that we have to connect the placed candidates with the existing students, because one is that will give you a lot of confidence. Correct. Second, it will give you roadmap clarity, that what I should study, what I should focus more on. Third, okay, you will also get the clarity on the current placement trends. Otherwise, we are always in that assumption and myth that somebody is telling something vaguely, and we assume that, and we are vaguely building some assumption in our mind. Let's not do that. Okay. So, that all our placed students' data we maintain very accurately and very nicely, right? So, there's a contact number 96326290, okay, 9033 or 455. So whenever you visit Pankaj Sir Academy, one thing what I can promise you is, at the reception desk, you will find daily placed students records. Okay. So whoever candidate gets placed on daily basis, name and mobile number, not just the name. Okay. So we're very proud to tell that in Bangalore, at least as per my knowledge, we are the only academy conducting alumni meets and keeping placed students' mobile number in the record. Otherwise, you will see a record with only name, email ID, and that candidate details are not there. Correct? So it will be only the statistics that's been created. So day wise, month wise, year wise, all records will become accessible. Point number one. Point number two, we are all very excited, okay, because the new syllabus has started in Pankaj Sir Academy, and I'm seeing pretty good responses from the students and learners, right? Their responses while taking the class, and their expression after the class, that they are getting to learn, okay, something new which is more trending and matching to the latest industry standards. So how do we know what we should train on? Again, this depends on the alumni meet. So we have revamped the whole syllabus, and the current syllabus of mine is 80% changed. How much? 80% change, keeping that in mind, what is the demand in current market. And plus, so far, okay, I've been getting good response on our DevOps classes. Okay, so we have reached so far Terraform, and we have started with HashiCorp configuration language, and we have started using Terraform tool, and I'm seeing the progress of the candidate in DevOps is slowly growing, right? I'm seeing pretty good response in the class. The topics understanding point of view, it's happening good, and we're trying to keep it very practical as per what's happening in the company. Okay, right? I hope a lot of people are attending the DevOps classes. Existing students, are you attending DevOps classes? Are you attending DevOps classes? Any of the students and who are here? Okay, so let's see now the candidates for the day. Okay, all the names are changed here. Yogita. So firstly, I'll invite Yogita Nagar. So Yogita, let's start with your introduction. Please tell us. We are not able to. Okay, we are not able to hear you.
Hello, sir. I am audible.
Yeah, you are audible. So,
Okay.
Yogita, let's start with your introduction, and we will discuss with Yogita in detailed manner the current trends in the interview. Fine. So, Yogita, please
Okay.
tell us the companies you have got placed in.
Okay. So I got placed in many companies, sir. Infosys, TCS, Cognizant, Tata Technology, HSBC, Persistent System, ITC Infotech and IBM.
So she has an experience of giving a lot of interview. So you have started with a candidate who has a lot of exposure giving interviews now. I can assume that. So, of course, the packages is one thing which people are interested to know. But what I'm more interested to know is the syllabus. But quickly tell us your highest and lowest package, Yogita.
Okay, sir, my lowest package was 8.5 LPA and highest is 13 LPA.
Highest is 13 LPA and the lowest is 8.5 LPA. So, the current interview, what are they expecting from the candidates? Please tell us the syllabus and let's start our discussion from core Java to the most advanced concepts that is being expected from the candidate, Yogita.
Yes, sir. In most of the interview, which is like the company is a product base, so they are morely focused on core Java, like string and try catch, finally related some code and exception handling, throw and throws and polymorphism, and the Java 8 features like functional interface and why we use lambda in functional interface and hash map, hash set, list, why we use hash map, and when we use list, when we use set, kind of that scenario based question they asked. And also like a new feature which is introduced in Java 8 related to hash map and memory management, kind of the tricky question they asked. And morely like core Java is very important, so all the student focus mainly on core Java also. Like after we will join our
So, Yogita, you said a lot of concepts
yeah, sir.
like polymorphism, some collection concepts like hash map. So, do they just expect the theory in the interview,
No,
just the
sir.
definitions,
No,
or how the explanation of the candidate is supposed to be,
like it is
right?
very practical and short.
Okay. So, they want a practical explanation. But tell me one thing, when the interviews are happening online, if it is offline, I think I can take a sheet of paper, I can write a program, and I can explain that. But how do we tackle this when interviews are happening online? How should we keep our explanation practical? Can you please take any one topic and tell our students how the explanation should be?
In interview they are mostly focused on Java 8 related like stream API questions. So all the student prepare accordingly to stream API function, like for an example, filter out the department HR. So we have to describe our code of stream API very practically, like in each step, like like kind of we you explain like filter inside uses the predicate functional interface. So you just like internal working of our code, and like filter uses predicate and map function uses inside the functional interface, kind of that you explain. So it give our interviewer a pretty like
Okay,
quick
I'll
feedback.
just explain so far what Pooja she's telling. You have to explain all the internal working of the code. So there is a feature in Java 8 called as Stream API. Now, how the Stream API works internally? It uses a functional interface called as predicate. Using that functional interface predicate, how Stream API filters a record. She was trying to explain that imagine there are all records with department. There are different departments. IS department, CS department, EC department, triple E department. I want to filter the record based on the department. I want only those records that belongs to ISE department. How do I do this? So such kind of explanation is what you've been giving, explaining your Stream API, Java 8 features. How did you use this in your project? Where did you use this in your project? Right? This is what you have to keep it in mind. just giving them definition, she is telling do not do that. Correct, Pooja? Oh, sorry, Yogita.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So let's continue further. So tell us about the trending concepts when the resume is being selected. As you've got placed in 8 companies, how many calls you've been getting per day? And what are the parameters for the resume to get selected? What skills we have to put in resume? Hello? Yogita, we are not able to hear you. There's some problem at your end. Hello? Okay, there's some issue in terms of audio. 1 minute, some network problem at her end, I think. Okay, let me ask her to unmute again. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes.
So my question was, in your resume, what all skills did you add? And how many
Uh,
calls were you getting because of that skills?
Sir, I added many skills like Spring Boot, ELK, Kafka, Redis, Docker, Kate, AWS,
समझे?
microservices, Spring Security, JWT token, and MySQL, NoSQL.
So she had mentioned Redis, she had mentioned Kafka, she had mentioned about ELK, she had mentioned a lot of AWS services, right? Should have mentioned about Linux, should have mentioned about all of these things in our resume. Spring Boot, Hibernate, definitely it is there. But these all skills is what basically required. Fine. Okay. Microservices, which is again, okay, one of the most important part of the syllabus, right?
Yes,
Next.
sir. So, sir, related to microservice, they are asked about intercommunication between the services, how many way you do that, and API gateway, why we use API gateway, and security we will apply in microservices, config server, service discovery, and the design pattern related to microservices like Saga design pattern and circuit breaker design pattern. They mostly asked.
So we will have to all work on this. What do you mean by saga design pattern? About all these concepts in the classroom, we people will have to accomplish. This is for sure. Tuesday, I'm starting my class with Kafka, but that's only for people who has some idea about microservices. Fine. So let's understand this now. This all basically we people have to finish that. So if you have just gone through our latest syllabus copy that I have been telling the students, this all thing we will have to complete it. A microservices project, then we people will have to work on, okay, Kafka, we people will have to one by one cover up all these syllabus. Again, the questions on Git and GitHub. Okay, so please tell us the questions on Git and GitHub, Yogita.
Uh, they are asked about merge conflict related question, how you practically remove the merge conflicts kind of the scenario, and some command like cherry pink and related to branching they are asked many questions, and what is git stash kind of that command which we will using in git and github, they are
Right.
mostly asked.
So, branches. Okay, yesterday we had started our discussion on Git branches, right? So, very important question. Okay, what is merge conflict, right? When you perform a Git pull, right? What kind of conflicts you might have it there. So, a lot of cross questioning is going to happen. How many branches have you created in your project? In your project, how many branches were there? Name those branches. What was the purpose of each and every branch? So direct questions they are not asking. The reason behind her to get 8, okay, offers is because she's strong with all of these things, right? Then she talked about something git stash. What does it mean? What's the difference between Okay, git pull versus git fetch. Okay, how do you basically remove the changes from your central repository? How do you basically unstage a file that has already been, okay, a commit has been done? So things like that questions will come. Okay, every topic. Now the situation is like, अगर पढ़ रहे हो डेप्थ पढ़ना है, otherwise 100% ये नहीं होगा. Okay, so obviously these are basic commands like pull, push, commit, checkout. Okay, how do you create a branch? What's the command to create a branch? Things like that. Fine, everybody understanding? Okay, so tell us about the questions. Did you get anything on J unit, Yogita?
Yes, sir. They mostly asked about JUnit annotations like at the rate before, at the rate after, at the rate before each, and they give us a problem, and we will write the code. For an example, like stream API, any code they are asked, and then they said, please write the JUnit test case for that code.
Right. So they'll also give you some code and tell you to complete a particular task there. Fine. So let's move ahead further. What questions did they ask you on Spring Security?
Spring Security, they mostly asked about JWT token related questions, and also sometimes they also asked about OAuth login and OpenID, kind of that question they mostly asked. And how you implement Spring Security in microservices, which is like most common question when you mention microservice in your resume.
Right. So, okay, microservices with that Spring Security. Right. See, we have to understand, guys, uh, we have to follow the trend and accordingly prepare. And uh, people, if not upgrading themselves to what is being asked in the interviews today, you will have tough challenges in order to get placed. Fine. So let's continue further. Any questions did they ask you on Maven?
Maven, no sir.
No. Okay. Then anything, okay, as you had put AWS concepts in your resume, anything
Yeah.
about CDCI?
Sir, I mentioned lot of the technology, so I did not have any chance to learn CI/CD pipeline. But they commonly asked about CI/CD, so you should
Right. So
prepare.
they had asked questions on Jenkins.
Yeah,
They had asked questions on Dockers.
yeah, Docker I mentioned, sir.
Okay. So they asked you, how do you create a Docker image? What is
Yeah,
Docker
sir.
container?
Yeah, they mostly asked about how you define the Docker file. So you should reply like from keyword. Why we use from keyword for fetching the image from the Docker hub. Kind of that scenario you mentioned, we will create the jar file of our project, and then we will mention in our Docker file. So every keyword which we will
The
define in
complete
Docker file.
flow of your, okay, operations.
Yeah.
That how the code is being picked from your GitHub. Then how Jenkins is basically using Maven, okay, to package that file into jar. Then how a Docker image is being getting generated. Okay, how a Docker container is getting created. Everything. Okay, fine. Everyone clear with this? Okay. Now the next important thing. Okay, what I want to ask you is, uh, did they ask you anything about agile?
Yeah, sir. They asked about agile also, stand up meeting related to any project you get. So how you follow the agile methodology? They mostly asked in second round of interview.
Okay, so stand up meeting. Okay, what exactly do you do in stand up meeting? Okay, they've asked those questions as well. Right. Anything about loggers? Did they ask you anything about loggers?
Yeah, sir. They asked me about loggers, like
बहुत पढ़ना पड़ेगा भाई. समझे क्या सबको? बहुत सिस्टमैटिक वे में पढ़ाई करना पड़ेगा अगर आप जॉब चाहते हो. ओके, आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग? मैं खुद ऑफिस 10 बजे छोड़ के जा रहा हूँ आजकल. आई एम लीविंग पीएसए 9:45 फ्रॉम पीएसए. ओके, वेयर वी आर ट्राइंग टू मैच विद ऑल दिस सिलेबस व्हाट एवर स्टूडेंट्स आर टेलिंग. समझे? जो स्टूडेंट्स बता रहे सारी चीजें के लिए हमने एक एक्सक्लूसिव डेवऑप्स बैच चालू किया. नया डेवऑप्स बैच हम और 10 दिन में चालू कर रहे विद लिनक्स. ओके, सारा टूल्स का ट्रेनिंग इन एग्जिस्टिंग बैचेस वी हैव ऑलरेडी स्टार्टेड. राइट, from Monday we are going to begin with JUnit, with Mockito, with Jacobo. Okay, so like this, whatever I've been listening from the candidates, we are making that as a part of the syllabus, plus the project with all these implementation. Okay, so next question. Any? That's it. I think we have explored a lot of things from Yogita. And what did you feel talking with Yogita? Was that a very good input given from her side? Yes. Should we learn only core Java, servlets, JSPs, and tell I'm ready for placements? No. हम सबको बहुत मेहनत डालना पड़ेगा. Yes or no? It's a very transparent show. The question here is not about what sir पढ़ाते सर नहीं पढ़ाते. हमें पढ़ाना है बस. जो students बोल रहे. That is the mindset right now. Whatever our play students are telling, that has to be a part of our syllabus. Did you understand? Okay. Correct, Yogita?
yes, sir. And I was an online student and joined PSA Academy on 27th Feb 2024. Before that, sir, I joined PSA demo classes twice. However, that time I thought that might be fraud, because after your demo classes, they did not follow up with me and take any initiate to contact me. So this made me question whether the session I attend was genuine. Due to this uncertainty, I decided to not join PSA that time, which is my biggest stupidity in my life.
I did not. Okay, you heard something? Okay, we had some problem here at the local speakers. Okay, but thank you so much, Yogita, for joining us. We wish you all the best.
Yes,
God
sir.
bless you.
Actually,
And
sir, I joined PSA as a online student, and I joined your demo classes in 2020. That time I thought that this is like kind of not genuine academy, because uh, I have no friend from PSA. So that is my biggest mistake of my life. And in 2024 27th of Feb, I joined your organization. So after I joined your academy, and due to you I cleared so many companies interview, which I did not clear after I am doing MTech in computer science.
okay, right. So thank you so much for all these, compliments about our academy. Thank you so much, Yogita.
Thank you,
Um,
sir.
uh, we pray that you keep progressing further. Right. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Bye. God bless you. Take care. Okay. And now we are going to invite the next candidate today, who is Pooja Yadav. So Pooja Yadav is here. Pooja,
प्रणाम
very
सर.
good afternoon, Pooja. Let's start with your introduction, and we will decode the syllabus transparently. That is the whole plan here, right? So Pooja, firstly, tell us the companies that you have got placed in, and how much package have you got?
सर मैं ग्लोबल में प्लेस्ड हुई हूँ, और ये मेरा हाईएस्ट पैकेज 7 LPA रहा सर, एंड लोएस्ट पैकेज 4 LPA NG ग्रुप में, सूरत के लिए, सूरत लोकेशन के लिए. और मैं दो कंपनी में सर प्लेस्ड हुई हूँ, और TCS में भी हुई थी, बट मैं वहां गई नहीं सर. TCS मैं क्लोवर को ज्वाइन की सर, मुंबई लोकेशन के लिए. और मैं 2022 पास आउट, एमसीए पास आउट हूँ सर। और सर बिग वाला थैंक्स सर आपको, क्योंकि आपकी वजह से सर मेरा जॉब, मतलब मेरा करियर सेट हो पाया है सर। इसलिए सर बहुत बहुत थैंक यू सर आपको।
Right. Thank you so much, Pooja, for this wonderful comments and compliments. And let's now start with your, uh, all the experience that has been in interview, right? That
यस
what
सर।
syllabus our students have to target, and what did you mention in resume? Can you please tell us the highlighting points? Okay, that after mentioning has given you some decent amount of calls.
Sir, I have mentioned in my resume Spring MVC, Spring Boot, microservices, and Angular. And currently they are asked more Angular. And Angular, I have also JavaScript, I have mentioned. And OOPS concept, multi-threading, and core Java, and JDBC, and MySQL database, and MongoDB, and Servlet,
No, no, it's
and
MongoDB.
JSP। एक्चुअली सर वो लोग अभी मतलब ये एंगुलर पे बहुत फोकस कर रहे हैं सर, एंगुलर पे
हाँ,
और जावा स्क्रिप्ट पे। ओनली वैकेंट नहीं, उनको दोनों चाहिए सर। थोड़ा बहुत भी तो उनको मतलब होना ही चाहिए एंगुलर पे भी, नहीं तो जावा स्क्रिप्ट कुछ पे भी मतलब थोड़ा बहुत नॉलेज होना चाहिए।
all
तो
right.
मैंने
One
सर
advice from Pooja is Angular and TypeScript. Little bit of knowledge you should have that will give you good interview calls, and this is very true. We
हाँ सर
cannot deny
अगर,
this particular input from her, right? हमें ये चीजों पे काम करना पड़ेगा. But
ये सर
पहले
अगर,
backend. हाँ.
अगर सर थोड़ा सा अगर हम फ्रंट एंड पार्ट भी ऐड करते हैं सर, उसका उससे क्या हो रहा है, कॉल का सर फॉलो ज्यादा इंक्रीज हो रहा है। नहीं तो ओनली बैकएंड पे सर बहुत कम कॉल आते हैं, अगर हम फ्रंट एंड का भी ऐड करते हैं तो कॉल का वो इंक्रीज सर ज्यादा होता है फिर ऐसे में।
हम्म,
और ये इंटरव्यू भी सर मतलब मोस्टली वो
हम्म,
लोग शेड्यूल भी करते हैं अगर रेगुलर पार्ट भी आता है तो।
हम्म,
और और ये माइक्रो सर्विसेज मैंने ऐड किया है। और प्रोजेक्ट को भी मैंने ऐड किया है सर, जितना प्रोजेक्ट आप वहाँ पे काम किए उतना ऐड करो तो उतना अच्छा है सर, बेनिफिट मिलता है। और इतना ही सारा ऐड किया है मैंने सर।
right. So definitely this is our roadmap further. क्योंकि backend पे काफी काम करेंगे हम. But after that, as per my roadmap, this is what the plan is. Angular and TypeScript. We're just waiting for this first set of syllabus to get over, and then we can begin with Angular. Angular, if you give 1.5 months, we can learn.
ऐसे
Okay?
सर मेरे बहुत सारे सर वो जब फर्स्ट स्क्रीन राउंड के लिए सर जब कॉल आता है तो उसमें मेरा सर बहुत बार मेरा सीवी रिजेक्ट हो गया, क्योंकि मैंने वहाँ पे
Hmm.
एंगुलर ऐड नहीं किया था सर। तो
Hmm.
कॉल ही नहीं मतलब नहीं है तो उस पे नॉलेज तो इसके
Hmm.
ये
Hmm.
एक्सपीरियंस तो
Hmm.
वो लोग शेड्यूल ही नहीं करते थे, इसलिए मैंने
Hmm.
सर सब कुछ ऐड कर दिया।
Hmm. Hmm.
इंटरव्यू में सर ऐसे वो पूछते नहीं है, बस फ्रंट वो बैकएंड का ही
Hmm.
पूछते हैं ज्यादातर सर, माइक्रो
Hmm.
सर्विसेज, स्प्रिंग बूट,
Hmm.
कोर जावा पे ही क्वेश्चन करते हैं। बस
Hmm.
सीवी में होना चाहिए, अगर सीवी में है तो ठीक है, अगर वो लोग शेड्यूल करेंगे,
Hmm.
अदरवाइज वो लोग फिर रिज्यूम ही
Hmm.
सिलेक्ट नहीं करते हैं। और
Hmm.
इंटरव्यू में सर बहुत कम ही पूछते हैं फ्रंट रिलेटेड सर।
Hmm. Okay. See, one just update from the backend. Uh, Pooja is here, but I think Faraz and Sheikh they want to go for namaz. So we will quickly interact with these people. Okay. So Pooja, you will also be a part of this. We will interact with three people together. Okay, because they'll be leaving for namaz. So let me ask to unmute. Faraz, please unmute yourself. And yeah, Sheikh is here. And then
Yes, sir.
Pooja. Right. So let's have all the discussions together. And I will not talk. All three of you people talk. बच्चों को क्या क्या पढ़ना चाहिए अपना पैकेजेस बता दो कंपनी दैट यू गॉट प्लेस्ड इन एंड वो सारी चीजें मुझे बताओ कि इंटरव्यू में पूछा जा रहा है और हमें उसके ऊपर प्रिपेयर्ड रहना चाहिए लाइक हाउ योगिता एक्सप्लेन सो नाइसली एवरीथिंग दैट व्हाट वी हैव टू स्टडी वेरी जेन्युइनली इन दिस शो सो प्लीज मेंटेन दैट कंप्लीट ट्रांसपेरेंसी इन टर्म्स ऑफ टॉपिक्स के लिए ताकि मे भी उस पे काम कर सको और बच्चों तक में ला सको. ओके, राइट. ओके,
Right.
so फराज, शेख, पूजा, गो अहेड.
सर माइक्रो सर्विस तो सर अब कॉमन हो गया है, वो तो पूछते हैं, अगर माइक्रो सर्विस नहीं आ रहा है तो सर डायरेक्ट सीवी रिजेक्ट ही होता है, तो माइक्रो सर्विस पे सर इसे भी मतलब इस पे भी तो वर्क करना ही होगा सर।
Okay, so one thing is set now. Okay, that is माइक्रो सर्विसेज एक बेंचमार्क लगा के रख. अगर प्रोजेक्ट करेंगे तो माइक्रो सर्विसेज पे प्रोजेक्ट करना है, वरना प्लेसमेंट नहीं होगा. वन आंसर गिवन बाय पूजा. यस फराज, यू टेल अस द टॉपिक्स लाइक दैट नाउ. फराज, शेख.
Sir, Sheikh here. Actually, we have to focus on profiling, sir. Most of the times, what we do is like I have the real time experience. I'm a 2021. Like I have
हाँ.
joined the PSC on 2021. Then I got placed in 2021. But I have the real time experience as what we do
Hmm.
into the real time scenarios and all.
One thing, what Sheikh said, I will just add up the point. There's something called as spring profiles. You have to work on that. Correct?
Yeah.
So this is something very, very important because that will help you to understand the deployment of the project that you are doing it is for which environment. Okay? Whether it is QA environment, development environment, production environment, that profiling concept is something you should be aware of. Because you will be moving your project code to different environments. Okay, so for that we require spring profiles. Am I right? If because speakers are not clear, so I'm just taking half of your things and I'm assuming and telling this is what you're trying to tell, Sheikh. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
So, and the second thing
Huh.
is we have to focus on the actuator parts, like how actuator works. Like actuator is a small part itself, but we have to monitor the application how it's working. So, if the application has some of the issues, and also most of the part is actuators and the circuit breakers. And
Right.
coming, yeah,
So
and
actuators is again yet another concept that we guys will have to focus on. That's very, very important. Input from Sheikh. Is this clear? Spring actuator. Make a note of it. Okay, spring actuator. हाँ.
coming.
I think he has gone on mute. Faraz. So Faraz से बात ही नहीं हो रही है. Faraz, please unmute yourself. Yes, Sheikh. Continue.
Yeah,
Whatever concepts comes in your mind, you keep telling. Whoever wants to tell, keep telling. Pooja, you
uh,
also go ahead with that. जो concepts दिमाग में आ रहा है बताते जाओ.
and we have to
यस
focus
सर,
on.
एट ये भी सर पूछा जा रहा है @, स्कोप, दो दो तीन तीन बार सर, मतलब मोस्टली पूछते ही हैं @, स्कोप। सर मुझे भी नहीं पता ये क्या होता है @, स्कोप भी।
ठीक है. At
And
the
we
rate
have to
scope.
focus
हाँ.
more on transaction parts, like in hibernate transaction, we in hibernate we'll use the transaction, like in the microservices and all, how we have to do the transaction, like we have the annotation called as at the rate transactional annotation. By using that, like by using the at the rate transactional, they'll ask the internal working, how it's going to work internally and all. So we have to mostly focus on the transactional part. Like basically it comes into an hibernate as well as into a microservices. And coming to the microservices part, we have to morely focus on Apache Kafka, where in orchestrator method we'll be using. Like in Saga design pattern, we have like two methods. We have like orchestrator method, and method we have. So we have to focus on these methods, like synchronous
At
communication.
the rate transactional. Correct, Sheikh?
Yes, yes, yes,
Hmm.
correct.
यस सर।
Understand, highlight. Internal working of that. How did you use in your project? What was the use case where you have used it? Okay? Hmm.
And mostly we have to focus on the Redis part, Redis cache, how we are going to store the.
Redis cache. How will you use that to improve the performance of your application? Right? Why did you use Redis cache? Where did you use it in your project? What was the purpose behind it? Right? Why didn't you directly started reading data from the database? What was the necessity of introducing this particular tool? Like this, you have to have clarity about it. Okay?
So,
सर
and we have to focus on this one, sir. Like communication is a part, and we have to focus on like spring batch process. Like most of the companies, what they are dealing is like just from the client side you will get the like as we are join if you are joining, like most of the times we'll be joining to the service based company, so we'll be getting the data from the client. So always we have to dump those data into the database. Like directly we cannot write all the complete data into one shot, so we have to learn the spring batch. Spring batch is the most important thing to
Spring
the
batch
database.
processing. Very, very important question. Spring batch processing. What is Spring batch? Why this is used? What's the purpose of it? Making a note of it? Okay.
And we have to focus on asynchronous communication where Apache Kafka plays an important role. So most important thing is Apache Kafka. In most of the thing we'll be dealing with on microservices. Like whatever just for small communication, it's not we cannot crack the interview by using just a small microservices communication, but we have lot of internal workings with the microservices. How REST template works, if one services is getting down, then how another service should work, and how the Apache Kafka should come into a picture. So these are the important things that we have to look forward into it, sir.
Apache Kafka. Architecture of Kafka. Correct? Okay. Associated questions with that. Okay. Give me a use case. Producer consumer concept. How did you implement that in your Apache Kafka? These are all things that is going to be asked in an interview. Fine? Okay.
Sir, or they mostly ask the question, where did you use multi-threading in your project? Not like definition of
अरे एक मिनट ना,
multi-threading.
फराज बात ही नहीं कर रहा है। फराज क्या हुआ भाई? आप
Sir,
बात ही नहीं कर
am I
रहे हो।
audible, sir?
हाँ, आप भी बात करो ना, दोनों ही
No,
बात
sir.
कर रहे हैं।
Actually,
एक
I was
मिनट रुक जा,
speaking,
रुको।
but I thought
हाँ
my
फराज।
mic was actually not working.
Oh my, now it is. We are able
Okay.
to hear you.
Yeah, yeah,
Some
yes, yes, sir.
student have asked, कौन से company में आप placed you and what is the package you have got?
Okay. Okay, so I'm actually working for Mercedes-Benz right now, and my package is 8.5 LP right now.
Okay, he's working right now in Mercedes-Benz. His package is 12 LPA. So tell us about the project of Mercedes-Benz. Something
Sir,
different, okay?
okay.
Some
Sir,
topic. What project
mhm.
are you working in?
Okay, so actually the projects, there are multiple projects working on Mercedes-Benz because it's a research and development part. So we are actually working several projects as VDC we are working on. It's basically vehicle data conditioning. What happens is we are working on a live cars, the cars moving on the road right now. However, the data is moving around. Suppose we have after sales parts in that. So if a vehicle goes down or if a vehicle is running, it needs to be triggered for the service or something. So for that part, we are on the after sales parts, the project which I am on, and there are also multiple projects I actually don't know about more of the projects since I'm working on the after sales part. So yeah, that is, and the technology stacks which I'm using right now is currently Java and all, and Spring Boot same. And one of the projects also the monitoring projects that I'm handling alone as well. So yeah, currently working on two projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
So questions, yes, Pooja, you were telling some questions to students.
Yes, sir. Sir, mostly they ask the where did you use the multi-threading in your project? Not definition only.
Where
Use
have you used threads concept in your project?
mul yes,
Uh,
multi-threading.
Multi-threading concepts in your project. Where have you used
Yes.
this? Another question. Okay.
And also another question, sir, where did you implement, how do you implement Spring Security?
Okay. How did you implement Spring security in your project? Yet
Yes,
another question.
yes, yes. Where do you implement Spring Security? And also they ask mostly, how do you communicate microservices?
Okay. How these microservices were internally communicating with each other.
Yes, sir, each other.
Okay. Hmm.
And
Okay.
also they have asked the suppose you have one
Just
payment
1 minute,
service.
huh? Just 1 minute. I will let Faraz and Sheikh to leave because this might be namaz time for them. Right? 1:30?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it namaz time?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Please, you
Okay.
take a leave, no problem.
Okay. Sir,
Thanks for joining,
before
both
going,
of
sir,
you.
I can add one thing for the students. Like, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible, Faraz.
Okay. So basically, like I've given most of the product-based companies I've given interviews. So what all is they're asking is basically like they're focusing on core Java Spring Boot part, but they are also adding some of the DSA part as well. Like I've also given something like binary tree, linear search, these kind of things. Not in depth, but yeah, you must have the basic knowledge of that, and also the time and space complexity of the code. How can you reduce that? So these things, like most of the product based companies are asking right now. Rest all Spring Boot, Java, and also databases which you have used, they're asking to write the queries and all. So yeah.
Okay, right. So thank you so much. I hope you, really got a lot of information talking with Pooja, talking with Sheikh, talking with Faraz. Yeah,
So
questions मिला कि नहीं मिला? हाँ.
and we have to more focus on stream APIs. Like most of
हाँ.
the companies are asking about the stream APIs because
हाँ.
in stream API every concept of Java 8 stream has been covered.
हम्म,
Like mostly
हम्म,
like lambdas
हम्म,
expression, everything they have
हम्म,
been covered. So
हम्म,
we have to learn more focus
हम्म,
on the stream APIs, like
हम्म,
how we filter the collections.
हम्म,
Like each and every
हम्म,
topic we have to cover into it. Like we have some of the
हम्म,
intermediate and terminated commands into an stream API. By using that we can filter the commands. Like you have to more concentrate about the commands, what like methods what they are using into it, and you have to know the logic of how to catch up all the like each and every topic into it.
right. Sure. We'll keep all these inputs of our students in mind, and we'll try to touch all these syllabus, right, in our classes that's going on right now, whether it is.
Sir, also
uh,
one question is they mostly asked scenario based question. Suppose they ask me, suppose you have two services. One is payment services, another is order services. Suppose you if you get any your order service is not working, you get error. And how do you handle this error?
Scenario based questions, situation based questions. If any one microservices goes down, how will you analyze that microservices has gone down?
Yes,
I'm reframing the question basically. If the
mostly.
microservices goes down, okay, then how will you analyze that? Okay. So thank you so
Yes.
much guys, all of you. हाँ, आप कुछ और क्वेश्चन बता रहे थे. हाँ, कुछ और क्वेश्चन आपके माइंड में आए ऐसे लग रहा है. हाँ.
नहीं सर, ये क्वेश्चन उन्होंने सर बार बार पूछा है, मतलब मोस्टली पूछा जा रहा है सर। मतलब एक इसको कैसे आप सॉल्व करोगे इस
Okay, so
सिचुएशन
we'll
को, अगर
take
एक।
care of it. When we study microservices, we will discuss about it. What if any one microservices goes down? How do we know whether that microservices is up and running or is there any fault in that? Okay, is this clear? Right. Thank you so much. Now we will
थैंक
invite Arun.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक
Right?
यू सो मच सर।
Yeah, most welcome. Bye bye. Take care. So let's now discuss with Arun. Arun,
Yeah, hi,
very
sir. Good afternoon.
good afternoon, Arun. So let's start with your introduction, the companies that you've got placed in, but by now we have touched all the major concepts. If you notice, it's a mixture of syllabus that's going on. One student says you have to study Angular. Another student says you have to study microservices Kafka. Another student says AWS. And what I tell is for now is study all. क्योंकि देखिए AWS Spring Boot is a good combination for getting job right now. उसे calls बढ़ जाएगा. अब इतना सारा सिलेबस एक ही साथ कवर करने में भी टाइम लगेगा, बट स्प्रिंग बूट माइक्रो सर्विसेज काफका एडब्ल्यूएस ये दोनों करने से चीजें डेफिनेटली वर्क होगी. बट वी हैव ऑलरेडी स्टार्टेड okay working on your angular sessions, and I'm in talks because if not feasible that I can put my hands into it, we are putting one trainer for your angular. Okay, so for angular, after we develop an API, the angular classes will happen separately by another trainer. Okay, is this clear? Which will be TypeScript Angular, and that integration of work will be carry forwarded from there. further. But first, the backend part we will cover, and we'll start off with the placements, because whatever you notice, Yogita, what she was talking about, that was purely backend, what she mentioned, right? Uh, but it's my personal experience. These two things will give you calls, correct? AWS, Spring Boot, microservices. कितने calls आ सकते हैं दिन के? ये दोनों पे आ रहा है 8-10, बिकॉज इज ऑलरेडी, आई थिंक आप ऑलरेडी काम कर रहे हो. हाँ, आप ऑलरेडी जॉब कर रहे हो, तो मतलब 8-10 कॉल्स अगर हमने AWS स्प्रिंग बूट माइक्रो सर्विस का आपका डाला तो 8-10 कॉल पक्का अपना. हाँ, तो कितना कॉल्स आएगा? एंगुलर भी डाल दिया तो कितना कॉल्स बढ़ जाएगा? 8. हाँ, एंगुलर डालने से मतलब मान के चलो 40% कॉल्स बढ़ जाएगा. कैन आई टेल दैट? आपको 8 की जगह पे मान के चलो 50% और कॉल बढ़ जाएगा, तो 8 की जगह पे 12 हो जाएगा, करेक्ट? बट देखिए, कहीं ना कहीं हमें ये भी समझना है कि बच्चे फर्स्ट टाइम सीख रहे, तो हमें ये भी एक कंसिडरेट रहना पड़ेगा कि कहाँ पे हमें एक पॉज दे के उस सब्जेक्ट पे सीजन होना है. तो एक ही समय पे सारी चीजें अगर आप लेना चालू करोगे तो कहीं ना कहीं ओके थोड़ा बहुत टाइम कंजम्पशन ज्यादा हो जाता है. तो ये बैकएंड के ऊपर ज्यादा काम करके फिर इन द नेक्स्ट फेज, once your placement is done, like I'm launching some batches for all old students. जैसे अभी हमने AWS batches launch किया तो काफी अच्छा लग रहा है कि पुराने पुराने students classes ले रहे हैं, right? And when we see that again, we are becoming little serious about taking classes. क्यों? अभी तक हमने 2.5 महीना उसमें कंप्लीट कर, 2.5 महीना हो गया, 2 महीना हो गया शायद, हाँ 2.5 महीना हो गया. हाँ, तो 2-2.5 महीना अपना लगातार क्लास होगी और 1-1.5 महीना वो सिलेबस खत्म हो जाएगा. तो ऐसे जब हम एंगुलर क्लास भी अगर देंगे तो पुराने सारे स्टूडेंट्स अटेंड कर सकते हैं फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट, नॉट बी एनी चार्जेस फॉर इट. बट करंट फोकस जो कोर पार्ट ऑफ योगिता का जो सिलेबस था हम वो देखेंगे. ओके, राइट. नाउ लेट्स कंटिन्यू क्विकली guys, and let's understand now about the questions from Arun. Let's start with that.
Yeah, hi sir. Actually, I'm from 2022 passed out
हाँ,
batch in PSA. So at the time, I have placed 4 companies. So my lowest package is 6
अच्छा, वन
LPA.
क्विक इनपुट हियर. अरुण, थोड़ा मैं आपको पॉज पे रख रहा हूँ. ओके, जस्ट 1 मिनट. ये जिनको कॉल्स नहीं आ रहा है ना, अभी का ट्रेंड क्या हो गया, आपको रात में अप्लाई कर, समझे क्या? अभी का नौकरी का ट्रेंड क्या हो गया? यू हैव टू अप्लाई इन द नाइट, समवेयर अराउंड बाय लेट्स से आफ्टर 12 o'clock और अर्ली मॉर्निंग 6 o'clock. आपको अपडेट करना है अपने प्रोफाइल को, समझे क्या? बिकॉज द लेटेस्ट अपडेट्स ऑफ द प्रोफाइल क्या होता है, रैंकिंग बढ़ जाती है. तो जब आप मॉर्निंग करते हो तो मतलब लेटेस्ट व्यूड में आ जाता है. तो इनका सर्च कैसा है नौकरी में, फ्रॉम लेटेस्ट टू लास्ट. तो जब आपका लेटेस्ट रहता है, आपको कुछ नहीं करना है, प्रोफाइल में जाना है और थोड़े बहुत चेंजेस करना है. तो ये चीज ऑलरेडी हमने एक्सपेरिमेंट करके देखा हुआ है, एंड वी हैव गॉट अ प्रीटी गुड फीडबैक, बिकॉज एप्लीकेशन है तो काम कैसे करेगा वो इंटरनली चेंज होते जाता है और हमें उसको अडॉप्ट करना है. ठीक है, राइट. ओके, कंटिन्यू अरुण. या, yes.
Yes, sir. Actually, I'm from 2022 passed out batch from PSA. So at that time, I have placed 4 companies. So my lowest is 6 LPA and highest package is 9.5 LPA. So as of now, I'm working in the 3 Solutions Private Limited. So where I handle the backend developer, I'm the backend developer where I handle the 4 services in my company. So actually, I'm not sure what the type of questions now interviewers has asked, but the thing is, recently I took some interviews from my company side. So where I'm mainly focused on this core Java as well as Spring Boot, and the mainly the part is this collection part. So why we use collection part means, so most of company use this collection part because we can segregate data very easily in the fast way. At the same time, I focused on this Kafka and Camel also. Because of Kafka, why you use Kafka means, so we handling the third party applications. So we use some webhook events like rail data, okay, from get from the client side. So where we use the client side, they do some regular events, right? So we receive the events. We had to processing Kafka to use the producers and consumers. So storing the in my DB. So I asked those questions also, like Cameron Kafka. and after that I mainly focused on this thing DSA. So why we use DSA means the retrieval of data and consume of data is very easily. So that's why we use that. Sam audible?
या नो वी हैव सम प्रॉब्लम एट द लोकल स्पीकर, सो जस्ट टेलिंग स्टूडेंट्स, आप मोबाइल में यूट्यूब ऑन कर लोगे तो लाइव चल रहा है, वहां पे आपको ऑडियो क्वालिटी ठीक रहेगा, मैंने बोला। ओके, इफ अदर्स आर एबल टू लिसन, नो प्रॉब्लम। हाँ, बताइए बताइए। हाँ,
Yeah. After that, the main part is multi-threading. So multi-threading is a very important topic to run the schedulers. When it comes to scheduler, may I know the current papers are aware of that. So schedule is a very important topic in the Java. So where we can schedule events and it will trigger at that time. So that thing also, sir.
ओके, सो
And
इज टॉकिंग
yeah,
अबाउट
most of
स्केड्यूलर कॉन्सेप्ट।
yeah. And my previous colleagues are everything, they cover the other topics like Java, Spring Boot, and everything. So those are very important topics like profiles and Spring Boot actuators and Spring Boot security and how the one service is another service is calling and how their responses. So what if suppose the another service is down? So everything, all the questions are covered, I think so.
ओके,
Yeah.
राइट, थैंक यू सो मच अरुण। कुछ और टॉपिक से जो बताना चाहते हो, या पहले सारे बच्चों ने बता दिया है वही टॉपिक से? हेलो।
Sorry, sir, I didn't get your point.
Huh. No, is it the same topics or any new topics again? Okay, he added some more new concepts like scheduler. He talked about, I think, collection concept is very important, because we have some audio problem here, but I just could pick up some words from your conversation. And then he said actuator concept is very important. This is the second, student telling that spring actuator, you have to focus on that. So, lot of important points Arun has discussed, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you
Most
so
of
much, Arun, for joining. We wish you all the best. God bless you. Now we will discuss with Inder, the last candidate for the day, and we'll wind up here.
Hello,
Okay?
sir.
thank you.
Hello, Inder.
Hello, sir. How are you, sir?
Yes, I'm fine, Inder. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So I got placed in January, and I was May 24 batch last year. So like majorly, I my package is 8 LPA, and it was my fourth interview itself, and I cracked it, and like my joining was in 2 days, so I didn't give any more interviews, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
So yes, sir.
huh, right, Inder. So let's come to the point. Important topics that you feel it's very, very necessary for the students
Mhm.
to put in the resume in today's market. What are some important concepts can you tell from your side?
Yes, sir. Like for the first part, like you asked us to put Angular, so it did increase many calls, uh, and like in our organization also, there my main stack is Spring Boot Angular, and so the topics they question regarding microservices from design patterns, and I'll share a couple of topics like in Java 8 they are asking about completable future, and difference and collection they are asking generally asking with difference between concurrent hash map hash table, and how many ways a microservice can communicate, spring profiling as my fellow classmates said earlier, and like and they interview generally start with the basic questions like of Spring Boot, like what is request param, difference between request param and path variable, difference between put and post, can we use put to create new method new entry, and yeah, what have you done in Hibernate, and difference between static and non-static, initially, then they go in deep with the coding part with in Spring. Like they ask about Spring security, JWT token, then ask about caching, Docker, um, uh, and regarding they also give me few question to write queries, SQL queries, and ask about circuit breaker pattern in design pattern microservice.
Circuit breaker.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Microservices. New point you've got. Hmm? Circuit breaker concept. We should be
Mhm.
having knowledge
Yes.
about it
They
when you're
ask
studying
about
microservices. Huh.
API gateways, uh,
API gateway. That's
and the
again required. People did not mention, but that's very much required. Huh? API gateway.
an important question was like steps you will take to convert a monolithic application into a microservice architecture. Discovery, how does Eureka works in microservice part. They ask about Kafka also. Ask about have you used Sonar Cube? In my current organization,
Sonar Cube, another important, okay, tool. Make a note of it, right? How static code review will be done. Sonar Cube,
yes, sir.
how we are going to use that. Fine. Okay. So
So
during your DevOps concept, we will be making use of Sonar Cube there. Okay. When we set up a project in DevOps. Fine. Okay.
So they also ask about like a scenario-based question regarding concurrency. Like we have implemented like booking system something. So they are asking scenario-based regarding the concurrency, multi-threading, and difference between callable, runnable. Explain thread pooling. How concurrent.
Concurrency.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yet another question, that where did you see concurrency in your project? Fine. Okay.
I highly recommend everyone to like practice, as you mentioned, like practice many code like 30 days on Java 8 Stream API coding questions.
Okay. Java 8 Stream API question is again frequently told by almost all. Stream API, Java 8.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you so much, Inder. By now we understood what all things we have to study. At least one highlight of syllabus is ready. Correct? Can I tell that?
Yes, sir.
Highlights of syllabus is ready. Can I tell that from our play students?
Yes, sir.
हाइलाइट्स क्या क्या था सिलेबस में? हाँ, स्टार्टिंग से शुरू करते, पहले तो कोर जावा आना चाहिए, कोर जावा के बाद क्या आना चाहिए? स्प्रिंग बूट, देन हाइबरनेट, देन API development, then microservices, then Kafka, then several concepts in microservices. Correct? People what they mentioned, API gateway, they have talked about circuit breaker, Spring actuator concept, people have talked about Spring batch processing. Why is it required? What's the purpose of it? People have talked about the tools. We should be good at JUnit, Mockito, important. People have then mentioned GitHub, situation based questions, scenario based questions, conflicts on Git, something very, very important, right? And branches concept in Git, people have highlighted. Yogita went ahead and she mentioned that very clearly. We people have to be good with that. Then after, people also said that some concepts of AWS services, you should be good with that. Okay. So more AWS services, if you're putting it in your resume, that's a plus point, which will give more weightage to your profile. Then Jenkins, people have discussed about that, correct? And then we heard some situation based questions on the project. We should be prepared with that. Okay, some situation based question where Pooja went ahead and she said that one microservice goes down, then how would you know that? So such situation based questions we should be prepared with, plus Linux, right? Plus shell scripting, plus Python. अगर आप DevOps कर रहे हो तो Python combination is also a plus point अगर आप इसके साथ DevOps कर रहे हो. ओके, समझे क्या? बचा क्या है? Angular, TypeScript. ठीक है? तो इतना सारा चीजें जब हम आज के मार्केट के लिए कवर करेगी। मुझे नहीं लगता देर इज एनी रिसेशन आफ्टर दिस। मुझे नहीं लगता इतना सब सीखने के बाद कोई रिसेशन है। नहीं है ना। बट मेरा काम बढ़ गया है। जो पहले 3.5 महीने में काम हो जाता था, उसके बाद 6 महीने में भी क्या है कि ओके यू नो बच्चों को बेसिकली एक सिंप्लिसिटी वे में क्या प्लेसमेंट निकल जाता था। बट अभी कैसा है, नो सिंप्लिसिटी, सिलेबस इजी रहेगा, उसके ऊपर पैनिक नहीं होना है। ये सारा चीजें इट इज सिंप्लीफाइड। ये कोई रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है गाइस। ओके, फर्स्टली दिमाग से हटा दो। ओके कि मतलब काफका 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 हम बात करते, दीज आर नो रॉकेट साइंस कॉन्सेप्ट। 1.5 घंटा अगर आप क्लास में बैठोगे, काफका सीखोगे, समझ आ जाएगा काफका क्या है। राइट। तो ऐसा कोई पैनिक करने वाला चीज नहीं है। जैसे सोनार क्यूब कोई बोल रहा है, व्हाट इज सोनार क्यूब, ये टूल मैं फर्स्ट टाइम सुन रहा हूँ। हाँ, तो ये सारी चीजें सुनने में अभी जितना नया लग रहा है, प्रैक्टिसिंग करते जाओगे जो भी हम कर रहे, और एक जब माइक्रो सर्विसेज पे प्रोजेक्ट बन जाएगा, ऑटोमेटिकली कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाएगा, अरे यार ये तो मतलब राइट कर सकते हैं हम, अपने से हो जाएगा। यस और नो। जैसे गिटहब का भी हमने इतने सारे अभी कमेंट्स, पीपल वर टेलिंग, somebody went ahead and said that these are all the commands xyz things। ये सारी चीजें आप समझ पाओगे। बट एक चीज यहाँ पे जो इंपॉर्टेंट होगा इस कंसिस्टेंसी। अगर आप कंसिस्टेंट हो तो ये सारा सिलेबस में कवर करूंगा क्लास में, जितना भी स्टूडेंट्स बता रहे। गॉट इट एवरीवन, एवरीथिंग। okay, 99% in my latest batches this is all going to be covered, okay, without any second thought about it। जैसे कि हम एक्यूरेसी ऑफ बिल्डिंग को और बेहतरीन बनाएंगे, और अगर कंपनी के पास इतना पैसा है देने के लिए, 10 लाख 13 लाख 12 लाख, तो हमें लेने में प्रॉब्लम क्या होना चाहिए, क्यों होना चाहिए, यस और नो। अगर हम पढ़ाई करके कंपनी 12 लाख दे रहा है, अब इतनी सारी कंपनीज में वैकेंसीज निकल रही है, करेक्ट। हमारे यहाँ पे तो कितने मतलब you know handful of people, basically I would say limited number of people are getting trained here, but बाहर तो लाख 1.5 लाख की वैकेंसीज है। तब जाके एक एक बच्चे को 8-10 कॉल्स आ रहा है, और 8-10 लाख का पैकेज लेना कठिन नहीं होगा, अगर ढंग से ये कोर्स कंप्लीट किया जाएगा। ठीक है, दिस इज क्लियर। इतना स्किल सेट्स के साथ तो 8 कॉल आना ही, और मुझे नहीं लगता कि 3 साल तक फिर बच्चों को स्ट्रगल करना है। इतना सीखने के बाद 3 साल आप सेट हो। अब आगे का पता नहीं, 3 साल पर 3 साल तक तो मैं एस्टिमेट कर सकता हूँ, बच्चे इतना सिलेबस के साथ 3 साल तक आप सेट हो। ओके, और इंटरव्यूज आराम से क्रैक कर लोगे, डिमांड ज्यादा रहेगा। समझे, मतलब वो गया अभी कोर जावा सर्वलेट्स जेएसपी और जॉब दो, वो नहीं चलने वाला। ओके, ऑलरेडी टूल्स ट्रेनिंग चालू हो चुका है इवनिंग बैच में। अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग, बच्चे लोग जो अपना AWS क्लासेस नहीं ले रहे, प्लीज उसको कंप्लीट करना शुरू करो, बिकॉज लास्ट बैच हम टेराफॉर्म तक आ चुके हैं, HCL हमने चालू कर दिया है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सेटअप विद टेराफॉर्म शुरू हो चुका है। राइट, अब यहाँ से तुरंत तुरंत आगे बढ़ेंगे। जैसे ही टूल्स चालू होगा, प्रोजेक्ट्स ऑफ डेवॉप्स खत्म हो जाएगा, हम बहुत अच्छे से अपने डेवॉप्स स्किल्स डाल सकते हैं, जहां पे रिसोर्सेस आर लिमिटेड इन द मार्केट, स्पेशली इन बैंगलोर मार्केट। दी डेवॉप्स प्रोफाइल्स कॉल पे ही पूछा जा रहा है, डू यू हैव द कॉन्सेप्ट्स ऑफ AWS, काफी बार ये पूछा जा रहा है, यस और नो। करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग। राइट, हो रहा है ये कि आपको AWS के ऊपर नॉलेज है क्या, वगैरह वगैरह। प्लस ये सारी चीजें डालने के बाद क्या होगा, इंटरव्यू में अगर आप 70% भी ढंग से आंसर दे दोगे और सेलेक्टेड। आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग। सो प्रोफाइल selections are dependent on your resume skills। बाय गाइस, आई होप ये अपने को बहुत ज्यादा क्लैरिटी दे रहा है, एंड मिस गाइडेंस से हम बच सकते हैं, यस और नो। वरना ओके, अपने आप को मिस गाइडेंस से बचाना एक सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है। राइट, मिस गाइडेंस से हमें बचना है। कैसे लेना एक्सेस, अगर आप मेरे पुराने स्टूडेंट हो, ओल्ड स्टूडेंट हो, आप रिसेप्शन को कॉल करिए, दे विल टेल यू वेयर माय क्लासेस आर ऑन डेवऑप्स। राइट, और मैं 100% बता रहा हूँ, 1.5 महीने के बाद आई एम मोर वेटिंग फॉर इट, कि अपने स्टूडेंट्स 1.5 महीने के बाद डेवऑप्स के साथ रेज्यूमे बनाने के बाद, मैंने एक चीज बोला था कि अभी 7-8 लाख का पैकेज से जा रहे, बट हमें कुछ भी करके 10 लाख के ऊपर एवरेज पैकेज को टच करना है। राइट, और प्लेसमेंट्स को 10 इंटरव्यू में अब एवरेज 1 या 2 ऑफर निकाल रहे, तो हमें 5 इंटरव्यू में 1 ऑफर निकालने का पोटेंशियल बिल्ड करना है। समझे क्या। अभी फिलहाल बच्चे 10-15 इंटरव्यू देने के बाद 2-3 ऑफर निकाल रहे, बट हमारा एक्यूरेसी विद सिलेबस होना चाहिए, हर एक 5 इंटरव्यू में 1 ऑफर आना चाहिए। सेकंड अपना टारगेट ये होना चाहिए कि मैक्सिमम कंपनीज अपनी प्रोफाइल पिक करेगी और अपने को कॉल करेगी, या मजा आएगा। यस और नो? क्योंकि मैं खुद 10-10 बजे, फिर से बता रहा हूँ, 10 बजे इंस्टीट्यूट से निकल रहा हूँ। मुझे लगता है अपना बीटीएम लेआउट में सबसे लेट अपना इंस्टीट्यूट बंद होता है, राइट? सबसे लेट 10 बजे, 9:45, 10 o'clock आई एम क्लोजिंग द इंस्टीट्यूट इन द इवनिंग, क्योंकि दूसरा स्लॉट था नहीं। तो 8:30 बजे का मुझे लगता है वो एक बैच है जहां पे मेरा टाइम मैनेजमेंट बहुत तगड़ा जा रहा है। इन डेवऑप्स 8:30, 8:35 मेरा क्लास शुरू हो जाता है। लास्ट 2.5 महीने में वो टाइम मैनेजमेंट मेरा बिल्कुल डील नहीं गया, क्योंकि एक, कोई बच्चे होते नहीं क्वेश्चंस पूछने वाले, राइट? वरना डे टाइम में लोग होते। तो काफी मेहनत मैं भी डाल रहा हूँ, आपको भी डालना है, ताकि हम साथ में